It's Friday, December 17. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Ministry of Health and Wellness received a donation of 19 oxygen concentrators from the Positive Jamaica Foundation on Thursday. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the donation is significant to the COVID-19 response because oxygen supply has been a challenge.
COVID is a disease of the lung primarily, and it requires support to breathe, and oxygen is critical to that. And so I think the Prime Minister, in his wisdom, separate and apart from all the other things that he has to do as Prime Minister, saw the value in recognizing that threat and that bottleneck, if you will, and through his foundation has taken a decision to strengthen, to bolster any future response that we have.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who spearheads the foundation, says that the machines will help those patients who are moderately ill.
These machines, oxygen concentrators, the Minister of Health will tell you, is not a full solution to the problem, because if you need high flow oxygen for patients who are in really serious breathing distress, these machines probably would not be able to assist. But for persons who are moderately ill or even just above moderately ill, these machines would help. And therefore, what you would be able to do is to reserve for the patients who are severely ill and use these for persons who are moderately ill.
The donation took place at the Bustamante Hospital for Children in Kingston. The Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, intends to increase its COVID-19 vaccine supplies across the region next year. PAHO's director, Dr. Carissa Etienne, says global vaccine availability has increased in recent months. PAHO delivers vaccines through the World Health Organization's COVAX facility, of which Jamaica is a part. Dr. Etienne was speaking during PAHO's COVID-19 digital media briefing this week.
Deals have already been reached with AstraZeneca, for Janssen, Sinopharm, and Sinovac, and negotiations are well underway with an mRNA vaccine provider, and those negotiations are in their final stage.
The PAHO boss says more than 1.3 billion doses of vaccines have been administered in the region so far.
Although rollout of vaccines has not been as rapid as we would have liked, or as evenly distributed, today, 56% of people in Latin America and the Caribbean have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19, thanks to the efforts of countries and the support of donors.
Dr. Etienne says despite those numbers, millions of people have yet to complete their inoculation.
Vaccine inequity continues to divide our region. And if we don't address these glaring gaps, we'll fail to bring this virus under control.
She's again calling on countries to utilize their manufacturing resources to guarantee access to future therapeutic tools for treating viruses like COVID-19.
This region has the technical expertise, a well-established manufacturing capacity, strong regulatory infrastructure, and an effective pooled procurement mechanism via our strategic fund that, if effectively leveraged, will help us accelerate access to COVID technologies. But for this regional effort to work, we need the goodwill of companies to openly share these technologies and resources to all countries.
Jamaica is to get an education channel in the near future. It will come in the form of PBCJ1. On Friday, there was an official funding ceremony for the new station at the halfway tree offices of the Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Minister of Education Favour Williams, and Energy, Science and Technology Minister Darrell Vaz were in attendance, along with the PBCJ Board Chairman and the Chairman and CEO of the Universal Service Fund.
The Universal Service Fund gave a $20 million grant to establish PBCJ1. Board Chairman Justin Morin says the funding will, among other things, go towards procuring equipment needed.
The financing of the project is timely as the country continues to find innovative ways of reaching students whose learning has been disrupted due to the pandemic. The pandemic has really highlighted for us the great divide between the technological haves and have-nots. A divide the government of Jamaica, through the USF, is working tirelessly to resolve.
Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Favour Williams, says the move will help her ministry to resolve some educational issues.
This arrangement goes beyond the challenges brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. This will enable our creative producers of content to develop material that is culturally relevant to our Jamaican students at the early childhood, primary, secondary, and I dare say tertiary level as well.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the PBCJ-1 will help to bridge the learning gap within the education system.
We're not going to be able to regain lost grounds merely by putting our children back in the classrooms. You will have to consider, and parents have to support the efforts of the Ministry of Education. Some of these efforts may include extended hours for some children, special programs for some children, and indeed a deeper integration of the digital platform in the education of our children. It may mean that, you know, on weekends we still would have to continue with some of our programs and curricula through the digital platform using this very channel that we are funding today.
Internet access for the public has increased this year as the government established 5 new community access points across the island. The CAPs, which are internet access facilities open to all members of a community, were established by the Universal Service Fund in Chapelton and Maypen in Clarendon, Oterias in St. Anne, Port Antonio in Portland, and Otter Bay in St. Mary. Seaforth in St. Thomas has been added to that list. Here are some highlights from that recent Community Connect Wi-Fi launch.
800 feet. So the school will have access, anybody within this space. Picnic going home, you can stop, do some work within the space. We are going to have discussion with the MP to outfit here with gazebos where children can stop and sit around and do some work.
I heard you mention Yalas also.
Yes, Yalas is for the next phase, not for this phase, for the other phase. Yalas will be given consideration.
Okay, what's the budget for this, for the entire initiative?
Per site, like Seaforth on here, is $7.8 million.
The Department of Correctional Services has consolidated its resources by relocating wards from the Top Hill Juvenile Correctional Center to its Relocated facility in St. Catherine. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of National Security, Matthew Samuda, made the announcement while speaking at Wednesday's unveiling of murals painted by wards and the official opening of a new block at the Relocated Juvenile Correctional Center. Director of Juvenile Services at the DCS, Superintendent Claudette Hamilton, says that the Relocated facility is just over 50% full, and although wards from the 2 institutions are housed separately, they share academic, vocational, recreational, and dining spaces. You might notice an increase in your electricity bill this month. In this extended business report with Gabriel Thompson, we find out why and get other market updates.
The Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, is cautioning customers that increasing fuel costs will reflect in higher electricity bills in coming weeks. The utility provider says it has been experiencing higher fuel prices in the past few months as a result of the international upsurge in prices. Global uncertainties have led to increases in the price of both oil and natural gas, with projections that this could continue through the winter months. In a statement, JPS encouraged customers to continue to practice energy management, saying customers who have smart meters can monitor their usage on the JPS mobile app on a weekly, daily, and even hourly basis. In foreign exchange trading for Thursday, December 16, the US dollar sold for an average $154.85. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $120.86. The pound sterling traded for $203.32, and the euro sold for an average $175.88. In Thursday's trading session, the JSE Combined Index declined by 74 points to close at under 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 86 stocks, of which 41 advanced, 30 declined, and 15 traded firm. The junior market index advanced by 9 points to close at over 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, Barita Investments Limited, and Cargo Handlers Limited. Stocks declined for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, 1834 Investments Limited, and Berger Paints Jamaica Limited. Trading firm were Caribbean Cement Company Limited, Community and Workers of Jamaica CCU Deferred Share, and Derrimon Trading Company Limited. Kingston Wharves Limited was the volume leader with over 7.6 million units, followed by QWI Investments Limited with over 5 million units, and Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with over 3 million units. In market data for oil, prices dipped on Friday, putting the market on track for a weekly loss as surging cases of the Omicron coronavirus variant raised fears new curbs may hit fuel demand. Brent crude futures fell $1.14 or 1.5% to $73.88 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude futures dropped $1.11 or 1.5% to $71.27 a barrel. Brent and WTI are both headed for a 1.4% loss this week. In Denmark, South Africa, and Britain, the number of new Omicron cases has been doubling every 2 days. Denmark's Prime Minister on Thursday warned the government may impose further curbs to limit its spread. In the United States, the rapid spread of the Omicron variant has led some companies to pause plans to get workers back into offices. It's now time for Financially Focused with financial coach Denise Williams.
Hi, I'm Denise Williams. I'm your financial coach. Now, in this time, we want to be really focused and smart with our money. However, let's be honest. Yeah, we're going through some challenging times. No question, it's not pretty. And so the question I have for you is, are you making financial decisions based on emotions or reason? Yeah? Boy, it's a lot of stress going on. But if you can get control of the stress and make better financial decisions, you'll come out on the other side, wiser, better, stronger, and more liquid. So how do you get over the emotions, or get control, I should say? Because, let's respect the emotions. They're teaching us something. Fear, anger, shame, guilt. These are all, hurt. These are all real emotions, and they're teaching us something. So if you are not working with a coach or your pastor or a therapist, I would encourage you to do so. And at the same time, for your money, what I can encourage you to do, before you make a decision, read up on the data. If you're not in a position to hire a financial coach like me to help you specifically, let Google help you. Look up the information, read on the data for whatever investing decision you're going to make. Then you're going to focus on what you can control. Can you save? Can you cut the amount of fees that you're paying the bank? What can you control? Then you have to look at your long-term goals. Is buying a house important to you? Sending your children to school important to you? Your retirement, is that important to you? So these long-term goals are going to guide you in terms of the decisions that you make. So let me repeat, read the data. Don't make a decision on reading. Focus on what you can control. You can speak to your financial advisor or your banker. You can send them an email if you don't want to go into the branch. And you look at your long-term goals. You know, if you're single, if you have children, if you're married, if you're divorced, if you're widowed, if you are starting a brand new family, all of these decisions impact your long-term goals. And this is how you grab hold of the emotions that may be running away with you, and you make decisions that are financially focused. I'm Denise Williams, your financial coach, and I hope you got value from this episode.
Here are some stories making the headlines across the region. In the Bahamas, the government has once again rejected the application for the holiday carnival to operate, citing concerns over the spread of the Omicron coronavirus variant. Carnival operators are now seeking legal advice on the way forward. Meanwhile, individuals who expected to begin work at the carnival Thursday evening stood outside the property seeking answers. Kyle Walkin reports.
In the view of the medical experts, allowing the carnival to proceed posed a significant risk to the public. They therefore recommended that it should not be allowed to proceed.
It was a hard no from health officials yet again for the holiday carnival, even after repeated meetings and steps taken to address health concerns.
As you may recall, this is the second time the holiday carnival submitted its application to the Ministry of Health. Since that first time, they have since put up several of these signs encouraging people to stand at least 6 feet apart. Despite all these efforts, they were once again denied.
The carnival's attorney, Beyond Ferguson, told our news team yesterday that they were prepared to move ahead with operating, even if the application was denied. Well, during an emergency press conference this afternoon, the definitive no from the Prime Minister's office, citing the Omicron variant and preparation for the reopening of schools.
The panel considered their submission closely, but decided that the transmission risk associated with the carnival remained too high, and the protocols presented would not sufficiently mitigate against the spread of COVID, especially given the new variant.
Still, there are many unanswered questions, like who gave approvals in what ministries, who is responsible for the money already spent, and even this question we tried to ask.
Thank you, colleagues, for coming.
Is government prepared for a potential lawsuit?
Thank you, Carl. We'll address that tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
After the news broke, people who expected to begin their first day of work at 5 p.m. showed up seeking answers.
I don't understand why the closing can say open up schools January. What's the difference between a carnival and school? The children still could be together. You understand me? And they bring everything here, make everything stand out, and they just drop it straight down on us.
This father of two says he's now in a state of depression as the money was needed this holiday season.
It's hopefully depending on me because I have 2 children to feed and really I'm in a state of depression right now with this because it isn't making no sense. Why should I let something come here, then stop it? That doesn't make no sense.
While this security guard and another worker chose not to be on camera, they say this debacle is far beyond disappointing.
We're saying, okay, the carnival is here, it's already set up, we're good to go, we're ready to go, we have work. Now it comes now that we don't have no work no more, come on. We need answers for the government to say why is this happening?
But you're standing outside the gate, hopefully somebody will come and talk to you.
Because they told us to come back today at 5 o'clock.
I know a lot of them don't have any jobs, so I guess they're really counting on, banking on employment here.
The company that operates the carnival, McCafferty's Enterprises Bahamas Limited, was locked in a meeting with its attorney while we were there and said they'd wait to comment on their next move. Although one manager told us earlier the company will pack up and leave. Outside, management said lawyers will speak from here.
Is the carnival still going to leave? You're going to pack up and leave? What's going to happen now? You plan on operating?
No comment. All right.
I understand he's meeting with lawyers right now.
Yes. His lawyer is the one who makes the comments, I think.
Okay. For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
23,000 doses of Pfizer COVID-19 vaccines arrived in Grenada on Wednesday. This is the first of 3 shipments from the U.S. government aimed at aiding in the fight against the coronavirus.
The first shipment of 29,250 doses of the Pfizer vaccine back in August served as Grenada's first alternative to the AstraZeneca vaccine, which was the only option at the time. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sean Charles said this boost brings Grenada closer to the numbers needed to achieve herd immunity.
This will allow Grenada to be in a very favorable position as we continue our response against the COVID-19 and as we look to the future with the emergence of other worrying variants. This is a significant boost to the health security of Grenada, and it goes a long way towards ensuring that everyone is protected.
The Deputy Chief of Mission at the U.S. Embassy in Barbados is David Smear.
And adds to the previous deliveries that we have given to Grenada to total around 100,000 life-saving Pfizer vaccines for the people and the government of Grenada. This is a true symbol of our friendship, a concrete symbol of our partnership, because we're all in this together. Too many Grenadans have died here in the United States and all around the world. And no one is safe until everyone is safe. So it is the determination of the Biden administration to share our vaccines with the people of Grenada and people all around the world through the COVAX donation mechanism and bilaterally.
Agriculture Minister Peter David received this first shipment on behalf of the Health Minister. Minister David says the donation of 100,000 vaccines to the people of Grenada is not simply a gesture, but rather a clear way of the U.S. helping Grenada with its economic development.
I want to thank you because this is a clear indication the seriousness with which you take COVID, but it's also a clear indication of the relationship that we have with the United States. I want you, on behalf of the government of Grenada, on behalf of the Minister of Health, on behalf of the Prime Minister, I want to express our deepest gratitude to you and to extend this to Ambassador Tagliatella in Barbados, to the President Biden in Washington, our deep gratitude for this. COVID-19 has had a devastating effect on all of us, not only in terms of people who died, but certainly on the economy, on livelihoods. And the solution, I think it's universally accepted that the easiest and most available solution is vaccinations.
Christina John, GBN News.
In St. Kitts and Nevis, the matter of government salary payment for December 2021 became an issue of concern, expressed by leader of the parliamentary opposition, Dr. Denzil Douglas. He says Finance Minister, Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris had only indicated that civil servants would receive a double salary and that other categories of government workers and pensioners were not mentioned. Glenn Bart reports.
The matter of the double salary payment for December 2021 became an issue of concern expressed by leader of the parliamentary opposition, Dr. Denzil Douglas. According to the opposition leader, the Minister of Finance, Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris, had only indicated that civil servants would receive a double salary and that other categories of government workers and pensioners were not mentioned. Responding to the budget address on 15 December, the opposition leader criticized the creation of uncertainty over the payment, prompting the Minister of Finance to respond.
I listened to the Prime Minister very carefully and I read the budget address over and over again to see if I missed anything. Because he made no mention, Mr. Speaker, of government employees that do not occupy civil service posts. Throughout the presentation, it is replete, continuously referring to civil servants, the investment in our civil servants. Our civil servants would most definitely have a strong multiplier effect within the economy, where the micro, small, medium, and large businesses would benefit. Show me, Mr. Speaker. This is it. This is the document. This is it. The document. Nowhere it mentions anything about pensioners.
Mr. Speaker, for the avoidance of doubt, and it has been cleared in every statement that the government makes, civil servants are really part of the cadre of employees and the government payroll, the pensioners, because first they have civil servants, then they go on the pensionable payroll. The standard has been everywhere, that every category of employees of the government are treated equally when it comes to the payment of double salary. And create all the releases would have said so. It's civil servants active, it will be step workers, it will be GAE workers, it will be pensioners, because they are part of the payroll of the government. Every paid employee of the government.
That when he says civil servant, he meant step workers, government auxiliary employees, pensioners, civil servants. But here, he sets out step workers and civil servants. What happened to the rest of them? Mr. Speaker, no! Look at your own presentation, Mr. Speaker. Nowhere did it subdivide the civil servants. He said that step workers and, but you just said whenever you say civil servant, you mean step workers as well. You just said that. You just said that.
According to a government press release, the double salary will be paid on Tuesday, 21st December 2021. Glenn Bard reporting for SKN Newsline.
Over now to sports. Jamaican weightlifter Chloe Whylie has placed third in Group B of the International Weightlifting Federation World and Commonwealth Championships. Following her performance, Whylie took to her Instagram page at WhylieCanLift, stating that it was, quote, for the people them, end quote, in reference to Jamaica. She adds, quote, I am proud of what I have achieved and I am excited to grow. Give me another 4 years to become great because overnight success isn't real, end quote. In other news, the third event in the Jamaica Surfing Association 2021 National Open Series happened recently at the Lighthouse Surfing Beach. The event saw 17 male surfers and 5 female entrants turn out for the NOS points on offer. In the Open Men event, top results went to Elishama Beckford, Ivan Wilmot was second, third went to Akeem Phillips, and fourth Ronald E. Hastings. On the amateur side, Gabriel Chung was first with Aliyah Al-Khatib in second, Zoe Bain was third, Amy Gordon grabbed fourth, and Zun Gordon fifth. The JSA's Billy Mystic Wilmot spoke to the event.
Yeah, man, it's going brilliant. We have wonderful waves today. The surfing is top notch. Our elite surfers out here today are practicing and getting ready for their qualification events that will be coming up next year. Because as you know, with 2024 is supposed to be the Olympics in Paris, and surfing will be included. So the more action and competition time that our surfers get, is the more they'll be ready for the undertaking in the future of that Olympics.
And that's our package. On behalf of our hard-working news and production team, we say thanks as always for making it PBCJ, the People's Station.